Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel, and we're back with another transfer talk show, and we've got plenty to talk about. Some deals being done, some potential deals to be done. Manchester United looking for players in, looking for players out. Of course, the main news is Antony. Since we've last spoken on Saturday, the Antony deal is done. Basically, it's done. He's doing his medical, I think, as we speak in Manchester, which is great to see. So we'll get in and talk about Antony. You know, is it too much to be paying? I think potentially it could be. But we'll get into that. We're also going to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo and can he maybe angle a move out of Manchester United before the end of the transfer window on Thursday. So we'll discuss about that as well. We'll also talk about Frankie de Jong and is there maybe an option for United or another team to still get him. So we'll discuss him as well, and of course we'll have a chat with everyone in the chat as well. So feel free to put your comments and your thoughts in the chat, and we'll go through it all. Please smash a like on the video as well if you haven't done so already, guys. Really appreciate it. Helps the channel out an awful lot. But yeah, let's get into it. So obviously, since we've last spoken, Antony has been basically signed, sealed, and just about to be delivered. He's doing his medical at the moment in Manchester, so it's all looking good. You know, what do I think about this? I mean, look, I'm really happy we got him. I think he's a very, very good player with a lot of potential to improve over the next 2 or 3 years without a shadow of a doubt. I think we're getting him at a good time. You know, was he 22 years of age? You know, perfect time to be getting a player of his ability. And look, he's sorely needed. We've needed a left-footed winger for a long time now. You know, obviously we had Mason Greenwood. We won't get into that. Everybody knows what happened there. So yeah, we've needed a left footer because we have, and obviously Anthony Elanga, Rashford, Sancho, all similar ilk. Even the likes of Garnacho is a right-footed winger. So, I think it's a good signing. I think he'll do well. I think he's a player that just by looking at him, you know, he's full of confidence, bag loads of confidence. I think he'll do well in the Premier League. I don't think it'll overawe him. FAI Football, thanks for the gift. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I don't think he'll be overawed in the Premier League. I really don't. He looks like a young man that's, you know, full of confidence, made for the likes of Old Trafford, strutting his stuff on the pitch. I mean, now we talk about the transfer fee, and it's looking like it's about €95 million with a potential €5 million add-ons. Them add-ons should be easy enough to get. So, you know, I mean, I think it's way too much. I really do. You know, I think it's similar to maybe the Nunez deal that Liverpool done in relation to, you know, spending 100 million on him. I think it's that same type of transfer. Okay, both are good players and have the potential to do very well, but they're both coming from second tier leagues, basically. You know, the Eredivisie, and then obviously Nunez with the Portuguese league. So I see it kind of similar enough to that. I do think we overpaid for him. I would have liked, obviously, look, if we take the finances out of it for a moment, I think it's a very good signing. But is it a good piece of business? It just, you have to say it isn't. You know, obviously, if Manchester United were competent and the board were better at their job, you would expect us to have got him maybe the start of maybe the middle of June for half the price, you know, and then let's put that extra 50 million towards getting another player in, you know. But that's the one hang up I have on it, you know. I mean, and I've heard a lot of people saying in the past few days as well, look, let the Glazers spend their money, you know, because they're worried, and, you know, all of these anti-Glazer protests are starting to kick off again, that, you know, they're worried, so let them spend the money now and then we'll still boot them out of the club. But we have to look at it as well. They're not spending their own money. They're spending the club's generated money, so the club's revenue, basically. And I think it could be spent better, if that's the one hang up I have. But look, obviously we try and keep it as positive as possible all the time here, and I'm really happy with the deal. I'm really happy with Antony coming to Manchester United. I think he's going to be a good signing, I really do. But let's just see how it goes. You know, let's see what happens. Are Manchester United going to dip back into the transfer market before the end? We'll have to, you know, wait and see. Obviously I have some updates for you in relation to maybe things that, you know, a lot of people would know already. But yeah, great to see so many people in as well, guys. Lawrence is in. He says, I agree, it's time for Ronaldo to move on. Dublin Games is in, good to see you. Tig is in and says, haven't been here for a while now, how are you? Good to see you, man, you're more than welcome, all good. We overpaid for Antony, says Twigs. And Tony says, good news is coming on our club all the time. Irish Lad says, cracking signing, and Eric Ten Hag will develop him into a world-class player. I couldn't care less how much he cost, cracking player. Daniel says, looking forward to seeing him play now. That's all we can do, absolutely. And Tony says, nice to hear that. Irish Lad says, will Ronnie go Thursday? Look, let's get into Ronaldo. While we're on it. I'll just read a couple of comments out here on TikTok as well. And I keep smashing the like button as well for us, guys, if you haven't already done so. Really helps out the channel a ton. I really appreciate it. Jonathan says, do you think we'll get any more signings? I wouldn't count it out, Jonathan. I really wouldn't. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we don't make any more signings, let me put it that way, because we've spent a hell of a lot of money on Antony. So, but look, we'll just have to wait and see. We really will. Ronaldo must take Maguire and leave, says Dram. One of my many spices, that's a great username, says, let's give him a chance. Ronaldo came from a second tier league too. Oh yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm not taking away the fact that he's a very good player, you know, and likes the like of Nunez for Liverpool is going to be a very good player as well. My rationale behind it is basically, it's probably, well, not probably, it is the highest paid Eredivisie player in history, and Frankie de Jong was the highest before him. So I'm excited. I'm glad he's here. I just think we overpaid. That's the kind of point I'm trying to get across. Royston says, Lukaku was 109. Where is he now? Could be worse. Yeah, well, look, Lukaku was garbage, really, wasn't he? A lot was held up on the deal at the start. If it wasn't that, we weren't looking for him. I think so much focus went on De Jong early on in the transfer window that it kind of hindered a lot of other signings. Please fire Benny McCarthy. The players will put on weight. Jube says, is Osman realistic before deadline? Right, okay, so this is in relation to Ronaldo. And obviously, you know, Ronaldo's been trying to angle a move out of Old Trafford, you know, for the bones of 5 or 6 weeks now. And he's been linked with, you know, every club under the sun, really. Irish Lad, thanks for the gift. So the one kind of team that's been constantly been mentioned has been Napoli, and it surfaced again in the last today I suppose. Basically, Napoli have held discussions with George Mendes on Ronaldo. They have been by far the most engaged club. They are understood to be eyeing a permanent deal, but are prepared to settle for a loan as they are pressed for time. And that comes from Samuel Lockhurst in the Manchester Evening News. So, I mean, look, it's coming from reliable sources that Napoli are interested in Ronaldo. The one thing I don't want to happen, and I've mentioned this before, even when... Sorry, I'm just checking for other updates. So the one thing I don't want happening with Cristiano Ronaldo is him leaving Manchester United on loan, right? Because it's the biggest waste of time. If he leaves this year, we can trigger a 1-year contract, okay, and sell him next year. Why not just get rid of him now and get the wages off the books? You know, his wages are astronomical. He's on £500,000 a year. So I don't see the point in it. Now, I understand that, you know, other teams and other clubs can't afford to pay him that kind of wages. Well, that's his fucking problem then, really, isn't it? You know, like, if he wants out of Manchester United so badly and he wants to go to another Champions League or to a team that's in the Champions League, then he has to lower his demands, because he will not get £500,000 anywhere else. On the face of the planet, he won't get it anywhere else. So, I think United do have I suppose do have the high ground here, really, because look, if he stays, great. He'll have to get used to being rotated in and out of the team. He will score his goals, absolutely, because that's just what he does. But if he is to leave, if he goes on loan, we no longer have his services, but yet we're still going to be paying a high wage for him. So that's the one thing I don't want to happen. If he wants to go, let him go if we can get a deal for it. But I think Manchester United do need to insist that he goes on a permanent deal. so we can just get his wages off the books, you know. And look, I mean, whatever club buys Cristiano Ronaldo, if Napoli sign Cristiano Ronaldo, they'll probably get him for about 20 million, you know, which is peanuts for a player like him, you know. Okay, now if you give him, let's say, and Napoli gives him 350 grand a week. Now that would be a high wage for a team like Napoli. I mean, you literally sell a bucket load of shirts with Ronaldo on the back of it of Napoli fans, you know. Now obviously they don't have the same reach and, you know, as maybe Manchester United globally, but you would make a hell of a lot of money off Ronaldo on merchandise, regardless, you know, of how big or small your club is, you know. So I just hope if he does go, we get him gone fully, not on loan, end up paying half his fucking wages without him actually playing. I just don't get that. I don't understand why clubs agree to let players go, pay their wages to play for someone else. You know, it just doesn't make sense in my head. Yeah, I'll work for you, but here, will you pay my wages while I work for him and do all of, you know, and, you know, make money for, you know, it just doesn't make sense to me. So, look, can I see him leaving before Thursday? I certainly could. Will he go? That's another question entirely. It all depends on whether, you know, whether a team will come in that can afford him. And, you know, getting back to the comment that was left there in relation to Osimhen coming in the opposite direction. I mean, I think Manchester United, you know, would be very smart in relation to if Cristiano Ronaldo is having links with Napoli, then Manchester United need to step in there and say, look, we'll give you Ronaldo plus whatever 50 million for Osimhen, you know, and there's your number 9 sorted, you know. And what a number 9, he's a very good player, and I think if I think that's the only way Osimhen is going to move this summer, but he'll definitely go next summer. He won't be sticking around at Napoli, I can't see, after next summer. So United could be very smart and very shrewd there if they could get in, get a deal done, get Ronaldo off the books, get Osimhen in. You'd be paying him less wages than you would Ronaldo, and we also have a brand new, young, hungry number 9. Again, I mean, what more can I say? We just need to wait and see what happens, really, you know. But, you know, I'm not filled with confidence that Manchester United and the board can be competent when it comes to a fucking transfer. So look, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But look, I wouldn't be surprised if Ronaldo moved before the end of I don't think Ten Hag wants him. I really don't. I think there's a lot of not maybe clashes between them, but there's Ten Hag knows how he wants to play, and Ronaldo doesn't fit his way of playing. He really doesn't. And that's been so obvious to the eye. You know, he hasn't started. You know, so, I mean, I think, but again, Ten Hag is also quite smart in the way of coming out and saying, look, we want him to stay. And, I mean, at the moment, we do want him to stay, because if Ronaldo goes and we don't get a replacement in, I mean, who are we banking on? Antony Martial, you know, sick note. And then who else? Rashford. You know, that's very thin. That is very, very, very thin. So I do think if Ronaldo goes, we're going to have to get a replacement in. You know, and the last thing we want is Ronaldo to jump ship on transfer deadline day, and we're left in the shits, you know. So, but look, let's see what happens. Let's see what people in the chat are saying here. Chris says, hope Liam Gallagher was good. He was brilliant. I'm still slightly hungover from it, but no, it was a great night. Great night. Need to sign Depay for 10 to 15 million, says Chris. I don't really know if I'm into Depay, to be quite honest. Look, I would take him as a squad player, but I don't know how better he can get coming to Manchester United again. Look, his statistics are okay. You know, they are okay since he left Manchester United, but he's been playing in the French league for the majority of that time. He done okay at Barcelona last year. So look, he wouldn't be the worst signing in the world. I just don't like going backwards, you know, and I don't mean going backwards. And you know, he may well be a better player now than he was when he left. But have you very, very rarely do you see a player returning and it working out well? You know, case in point, Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, so let's see what happens. Daniel says, I think the Bravka been reported as just about done, I believe. Solid number 2, no problem with loan and 5 million future fee. Yeah, look, I've no problem with the Bravka. I haven't really mentioned it an awful lot in any of my lives. He's coming in as a backup goalkeeper. He won't take David De Gea's spot. He can't get the number 1 position at Newcastle. He's not going to get it at Manchester United. So I have no issue with it. Obviously, the option to buy is there, but I think it depends on appearances. So he has to play a certain amount of times before the option to buy can be triggered. I think it's something like that anyway. But I'm under no impression that United are going to be in the market for a goalkeeper within the next 12 to 24 months, a proper goalkeeper, a new future number 1, because I just have a feeling that Ten Hag doesn't fancy De Gea. I just don't think he's good enough with the ball at his feet for Ten Hag to want him long term. But obviously there is, I suppose, more pressing issues at Manchester United in relation to improving parts of the squad first and foremost. And I think once that's done, I think Ten Hag will definitely be looking for a new number 1. I really do. Tony says, can you tell me something about De Jong? Well, look, there's no real updates on De Jong as of now. There hasn't been, obviously the rumours were floating around today that he's on his way to England, which he is. He's on his way to London, and everyone was, suggesting that a deal is going to be done, and, Manchester United have their head offices in London and all of this kind of shit. He's going to a wedding. I think Donny van de Beek is getting married, and Depay is coming, De Jong is coming, all of the Dutch guys are all coming, so... there's nothing to be said in relation to De Jong so far. Does that mean he's basically staying put? Nothing is 100%, but I think it's pretty clear now that he's not going to be moving from Barcelona unless he changes his mind. I think he is going to take a pay cut. Barcelona are absolute scumbags and geniuses at the same time. I mean, they've absolutely bossed this transfer window. They've had players queuing up to sign for them, basically. Like Lewandowski, for example. The whole of Europe was in for Lewandowski, and he waited for Barcelona to come because he wanted to go there. They beat Chelsea to Rafinha. They're after making De Jong take a pay cut, basically. I mean, they're absolutely after bossing this transfer window. They really are. And look, all credit to them. But what can you do? Please smash a like on the video as well, guys, if you haven't already done so. Nearly 50 watching on YouTube as well and only 9 likes. Please take a second, hit the thumbs up button for me. Helps out the channel an awful lot. And I appreciate everyone on TikTok. We're nearly at 5,000 likes there as well, so keep tapping that screen for me. Helps the channel out a lot. Let's get through some of these comments here. Yusuf says, CR7 must go. Gakpo will be a good signing. Yeah, well, hopefully we're going to go in for Gakpo. I heard the statement he was asked about Antony signing for Manchester United, and he basically came out and said, well, I don't care. That has nothing got to do with me. Which he's basically saying, I still want to go to Manchester United. So, look, we'll have to wait and see on that one, but it is certainly a deal that could be done. Rick says $500,000 a week, and Chris says we should not pay for Ronaldo's wages on a loan. Absolutely not. No chance, says Rick. The last pod is in. It says, does Antony mean Rashford benched? I mean, it certainly means high competition in that forward line. It's going to be a straight shootout between Sancho and Rashford for the left-hand side, I think, because Antony goes straight in on the right. He has to. You're paying 100 million for a player like that. He goes straight into that team, no questions asked. So, Rashford and Sancho, how are you for blocks? Because one of you is going to be up to your knees in sawdust before the end of this, because you're going to have to pull your socks up and go for it, because you don't pay £100 million for a player and bench him. So, let's see what happens. Chris says, even if Ronaldo stays, we need to sign a number 9. Yeah, I agree, Chris. We went backwards with Pogba. Depay is cheap replacement for Ronaldo or squad player. We can't rely on Martial, Rashford, Ronaldo. He can score goals. Yeah, absolutely. Solo's in. TMUA, good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Guys, anyone watching as well, go over and give the United Agenda a follow and a subscribe to their channel on YouTube. I'm after been on a couple of times with them. Great bunch of guys. They do great Man United content and stuff like this as well. So make sure you go over and check them out. The United Agenda. Irish lad says, Martinez is bossing it. What a signing. Yeah, I mean, look. I mean, I fucking Graham Souness coming out again today on TalkSport saying, basically saying that Martinez is not good at anything. He's such a bitter old fucking man, really, ain't he? And it's typical Liverpool punditry. And the one thing I would say and it's not me trying to be biased being Man United around, but the one thing, and a lot of Manchester United fans kind of don't really listen or like Gary Neville, but I had to say he's probably the most unbiased when it comes. Like, he slates Manchester United players, and he says, you know, when City or Liverpool make a good signing, he'll talk about it. But Liverpool fucking pundits don't. You know, Jamie Carragher, you know, Graham Souness, you know, all of these kind of guys, they just need to take off their Liverpool hats, you know, for 5 fucking minutes and realise that the player is a good signing, you know. I think he's been an absolute revelation. I really do. You know, to come into a team like that, okay, he had a poor game against, who was it? It was against Brentford, wasn't it? And, but I mean, 2 man of the match performances in a row. He's after finding his feet very quick. I mean, if you told me with every signing we made that you would have their first 2 games would be poor and then they'd go on to have performances like he had, I'd take it every time with every new signing. Absolutely every time. I think he's been brilliant. And long may it continue. Hopefully Varane can stay fit, because they do seem to be forming a good little partnership between each other. And I think Malacia playing, or Malacia, whatever way you pronounce it, playing beside Martinez, they seem to have struck up a good chemistry together as well. You know, they kind of read each other's games quite well. And look, the whole back four, I think Delors is after improving massively in the last 2 games as well. He's really started to defend properly, and he's getting up and linking up with the play quite well as well. So I've been really impressed with the back four in total. So yeah, I mean, absolute great signing. Darcy says, do you think Delors can be right back, or should we upgrade? Yeah, so let's get on to the right back situation, Darcy. I mean, it's been reported today that there has been links, you know, with a right back and, you know, a potential right back coming in Manchester United and things like that. So David Ornstein, as we know, you know, from The Athletic, basically, you know, a very reliable journalist, says Manchester United have received approaches from Crystal Palace and West Ham about the possibility of signing Aaron Wan-Bissaka. However, both advances were turned down, as United do not intend to sell or loan the right back in this window. Okay, now that is contrast to reports earlier in the day saying things like Manchester United, where have we have it here, and this is coming from the Telegraph. Jason Burt saying Man United had intended to also sign a right back if they sell Aaron Wan-Bissaka and another midfielder before Thursday's deadline, but appear to now have committed the remaining transfer funds to sign Antony. Okay, Manchester United were offered Sergino Dest, but Eric Ten Hag preferred to take Thomas Meunier if the club could move on Wan-Bissaka. He identified Meunier as a reliable defender to add him to the team. So look, it looks like our pursuit of a right back is probably over, given them reports coming out from basically tier 1 journalists. So either one or two things are meant here. Either Eric Ten Hag is happy with the likes of Delors playing right back for the season, with potential with Aaron Wan-Bissaka potentially backing him up, or as the Telegraph are after mentioning there, we're basically after blowing all our money on Antony. You know, I think maybe the second one is probably the more accurate. You know, and again, it goes back to how poor Manchester United have been in this transfer window, that they cannot get, not that they can't get players in, but they can't do good business, if you know what I mean. Antony as a signing is very good business, but Antony on top of the 100 million in terms of a transfer fee is not good business. I don't give a shit what anyone says. It's not good business. He's an Eredivisie player, as good as you are. We would have got him at half the price if we had him moved early in June for him. You know, we just would have. And that's down to the incompetency of the board. And then here's the trickle-down effect now. So now we haven't got any money left for a right back. We probably have no more money to go in for another attacker. You know, we probably don't have any more money to go for another midfielder if that's what we were going to be doing. So yeah, I mean, it looks like, look, I'm not going to write anything off, but it certainly does look like our pursuit of a right back now this summer is over, and it's going to be Delors and Wan-Bissaka for, you know, shooting it out for the right back position. Look, we also have the likes of Brandon Williams is there as well. He can play both right back and left back. He primarily played left back, but he is a right foot player, so he can play both. So look, I think there's plenty of cover there. Is there plenty of quality? No. That's the difference. But look, I've been impressed with Delo, I have to say, in the last 2 games. From a defending standpoint more than anything else. I think he's been very solid. So look, if he can continue to improve like that, and look, we said this early on in the transfer window, we mentioned that as well as Erik Ten Hag coming in and buying players and building a new squad, part of his job description is to improve players that are already there. And I think in the last 2 games we've seen that. You know, I think Bruno has improved. I think, like I mentioned, Delo has improved. I think De Gea has improved. I think, who else? I think Sancho has slightly improved. Rashford, slightly. Martial, I know has been injured, but, you know, pre-season and that, he's certainly improved as well. And we're only 4 games into the season. So, I mean, let's see what happens. Like, if we get to the end of the season, you know, and all of these players continue on the trajectory that they're on, the sky's the limit for them, you know, and that's part of Ten Hag's, you know, job description as well, I think. Let's see what people are saying here. Let's scroll back a bit and see what we can get here. Cottle says Elanga should go out on loan, not Rashford. R1313 says Our to Fulham, they're getting top 10. I can't pronounce that name, sorry. Twig says Carragher is full of bollocks. The Last Poet says they were on about Haaland against Martinez. They forgot he played him against Dortmund and handled him no better. Yeah, he did, the Last Poet. He actually got man of the match that day. Irish Lad says, what do you think of what Pogba's brother has been saying online? I haven't seen it. Throw it up in the chat there, let us know. Twig says Delo is like a brand new player. Lawrence says, have you seen Sky Sports? I haven't. Maybe let us know what's going on. Chris says, Martinez is just showing what happens when you play with hunger. Don't get me wrong, he has great skills, but it's effort and hunger. Welcome to playing defense with attitude. Yeah, I agree with you, Chris. Absolutely. Yusuf says, Delo needs speed. Chris says, Vidic wasn't the most skillful, but he played with hunger and effort and physicality. Yep, I agree. But we waited on De Jong for so long. I don't think we would have signed Antony if we signed De Jong. Dan says, I felt Alvaro Fernandez could have been a squad player this season. Such a talented young man. Yeah, he is, Dan. Look, there's plenty of time with him. There is plenty of time. He'll certainly get his chance. Because I do agree with you. He is a very talented player. But look, I do think he'll get a chance. Absolutely. Yusuf says, nothing will improve by United. Glazer's out. Let's see. And Madden says, is Shaw and Tellez part of United? So Shaw is, Madden, but Tellez is gone on loan to Spain. Yeah, so it's Malacia and Shaw basically fighting it out for the left back position at the moment. Darcy says, what is your opinion on McTominay? I think he's rubbish. Yeah, I think he's terrible. I can't see what Erik Ten Hag and past managers seeing him. Yeah, look, his time is his days are numbered. I think his game time certainly is going to be numbered, given the fact that Casemiro is there. I mean, it's a straight swap. You know, I think it's the easiest one to pick out. Ronaldo the Goat says, I'd rather sign Gakpo over Antony. And Ethan says, hi, is Antony in Man United for a medical? He is, so his medical is going on at the moment. I reckon we'll probably get official announcement tonight at some stage, if not early tomorrow morning. But yeah, it's been done as we speak. James says, we just need Ronaldo to go now, and we're laughing. Doesn't fit in to Erik Ten Hag's system, unfortunately. And Dan says, do you want United to get a striker in? Yeah, I would like them to get a striker in, Dan. I would. I think it's our weakest area at the moment. You know, we have, you know, for wingers, we have Elanga, we have now Antony, we have Rashford, we have Sancho, we have Garnacho, you know, and even Martial can play wide left if we need to. we're talking about strikers, someone to play down the middle. We basically only have Martial, who's, you know, injury prone, and Ronaldo. Because I don't think Rashford can do it. So I do think we need a number 9. I really do. I hope we can get one. But it remains to be seen whether we will or not. It really, really does. Let's see. Lauren says, United agree a deal in principle for Newcastle to sign goalkeeper Dubravka. Yeah. And Chris says, McMuffin has incriminating photos of people. And Dan says, do you think Garnacho will get minutes in the cups? He was unplayable in pre-season, raw talent, and so much like a young Ronaldo, says Dan. Yeah, look, I think he'll get game time, especially in the likes of the Europa League. I think group stages, playing the likes of Sheriff and that team from Cyprus, I think, is it? I do think that's when he's going to get game time. I think he will, you know, he deserves it. I'm still not sure whether he's after signing. Maybe someone in the chat can let me know. Has he signed a new contract yet at Manchester United? I'm not 100% sure. If he hasn't, I would expect him to get some game time just for that reason alone. Chris says Antony will play against Arsenal. Don't think he can get visa and work permit for Thursday. No, he can't. He won't be available for the game on Thursday, which we'll be doing a live watch along for, by the way. So if you haven't liked and shared and subscribed and all of that good stuff, make sure you're doing it as well, guys. We're going for 5,000 subscribers before Christmas. So anyone watching on TikTok, do us a favour, click on the link on my homepage, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We do all our watch alongs there as well, so I'd really appreciate it. Let's see. Alan says, hi Jack, I'm heading to the Arsenal game this Sunday from RD County Louth. Hope to see Antony. Great, good stuff, Alan. Happy days. Well, I reckon you'll see him at some stage. Whether he starts or not is one thing, but look, he'll get minutes. He's coming in as €100 million player. He's got to play. You know, absolutely. Let's see what other people are saying here. What about Cavani, says Alex. Yeah, Cavani is gone. I think a 2-year deal with Valencia, is it, I think? And Adam says, thoughts on Hannibal Mabry, United fans? Yeah, so Hannibal has gone out on loan, season-long loan to Birmingham. Look, I think it's good for him. I do think his game time would probably be limited this season if he had stayed. So yeah, I'm happy he's after, you know, getting the club to go to for some game time. So happy days. It'll do him the world of good. Hopefully he can, you know, get good minutes under his belt. You know, the likes of maybe what James Garner done last year, you know, at Nottingham Forest in the Championship. So, yeah, look, I'm all for it. And again, like I said, look, whatever the manager wants to do, he sees these players week in, week out in training, and we don't. So, although we might be seeing that quite soon, considering the fact, I don't know if you heard, but Manchester United, is it Amazon and Netflix are in a bidding war with Manchester United. So Manchester United are basically going to be the next that All or Nothing documentary. I don't know if it is actually All or Nothing, but it's going to be basically the same documentary, just to do with Manchester United. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I really don't. Let me know what you think. Chris says, what do you think of Richarlison showboating yesterday? I think he deserved every kick he got. So he did. He deserved every single one of it. Well, I know he just got a big, heavy challenge. But you just don't do that. That's bollocks acting. I played in defence. Oh, now, Jesus, only at a local level. I was a right back. And, yeah, like, if someone done that, you'd just be waiting for the next opportunity to absolutely smash him with a tackle. So, yeah, I mean, he got what was coming to him, really, didn't he? Let's see. Irish Dad says, tag you on Twitter there, pal, in regards to Pogba's brother. Perfect. I give that a read. I'm actually live on TikTok on the phone, so I'll check it out here, because I'm on my laptop here as well. Let's see what he says here. Where is it? Notifications. Let me see. Oh, I can't find. Oh, it's a big article, is it? Okay, it's a big article. Yeah, I'll read it. I'll read it, and I'll get on to you about it. But yeah, let's see what people are saying here. Darcy said, would you take Aubameyang as a number 9? No, I don't think I would, to be honest. No, I just wouldn't. I wouldn't. I just don't fancy him. I really don't. Really don't. Dan says, pre-season has been a farce with transfer sagas. We've got to take a step back and see how we've finally signed the correct system players on the way up. Thumbs up, says Dan. And Twig says, I don't think he was tackled hard enough. Chris says, we should have signed Dries Mertens. He was on a free. Need someone like that. Can put the ball in the net. Yeah, look, and I mean, look, a lot of it is something probably we don't really know and understand. And you look, a player is on a free doesn't mean he's easy to get, you know. And we've said it an awful lot, you know, especially with players. You know, for example, like Rabiot and these kind of players, is you want players who want to play for your club. So it might not always be the case that a player actually wants to sign for Manchester United. And I know all the Liverpool and City fans in the chat will go, yeah, sure, who the fuck would want to play for United? You know, well, look, Liverpool fans, we're ahead of you in the league anyway. So, you know, we'll gloat while we can. Augustine says, is Antony coming to Man United? Well, he's doing his medical at the moment, so I reckon we'll get an announcement tonight. Crazy J says, 100 million for a Farmer League player that only scored 10 goals last season, which are buying him as a future investment as well, though. Yeah, he certainly does have the talent to be a top player, one of the top players in the world. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Birmingham fan rumours linking us to a permanent for Chong. Opinions, says Adam. You can have him, really, you can. And I don't want to be disrespectful for the chap. He's not up to Manchester United standards. He's not up to Premier League standards. And again, I don't want to be disrespectful to Birmingham. You know, great club, big club. You know, big city. You know, massive following. I think that would be his level. I really do. I mean, I've seen him play. Watching the game against Rayo Vallecano, the last pre-season game, he was just awful. He was really, really, really bad. So yeah, look, I'm not surprised that he's going to be leaving if he does leave in the end. But yeah, let's see what happens. I just after getting a notification. So this is coming from Plettigol, which is a Sky Sports. Florian Plettenberg, who's a reporter for Sky Sports in Germany, saying that Victor Osimhen is a potential top target for Manchester United, regardless of whether a swap deal with Cristiano works out or not. United bosses see a lot of quality and development potential in him. There are no negotiations with him at this stage, however. So there we go. So Manchester United do see him as a target, but I mean, look, how much of that are you going to really take on board? I think half of Europe see him as a target. He's such a good player, so I'm not overly surprised with that. But again, we've said this before in relation to transfers. You know, all transfers start out as them kind of reports. You know, this player's been linked in Manchester United. Have put this player and that player and this, you know, and slowly but surely it, you know, builds a bit of momentum. Then all of a sudden the bid is in, then, you know, blah, 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 and then it gets done. Now look, time is running out. You know, we have 3 days to go, 3 and a bit days to go. So we do need a number 9, and it kind of came at the right time considering we were just speaking about it. Yeah, I think it's the area that we really do need to improve. We really do. Baka is in from Nigeria. Good to see you, pal. Thanks for joining us. Sander says, Man United won 2 in a row. It's a miracle. It certainly is. We're going to win 3 in a row now on Thursday against Leicester. Dara says, when do you think Ronaldo will retire? I reckon he has 2 or 3 years left in him. I think he'll go into his 40s anyway. Daily Mail reporting Pascal Gross. It says Burton. The Daily Mail can, yeah, well, we can take that with a pinch of salt. Augustine says, can't wait to see Antony in red jersey from Malawi. Good to see you, Augustine. Thanks for joining us. You're more than welcome. And Alex says, what's Alex saying? Is it true Paul Pogba is giving out United tactics? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised because that's just the kind of person he is. Pascal Gross would be awesome, says Burton. Man United should sign Asensio to create more competition in the team, says Nanaba. Alex, I read out your one, so you don't need to put it in again. Any comments on Greenwood? Nope. I certainly don't. We need Cody Gakpo, says Aina. Yeah, he would be a good signing. That's it. That's a signing I could see potentially us going back in for before the end of the transfer window. I think we could get him relatively cheap. But again, I mean, the longer we leave it, the more expensive these are going to get, aren't they? Josh is in from Uganda. Good to see you, Josh. Let's see. Jonathan says, many more signings before we get top 4. Yeah, look, I mean, and look, let's talk about the transfer window in general here before we finish up. Like, I mean, all of the giving out, you know, and there's plenty of fan channels that'll give out. There's plenty of United fan channels that focus on the negatives, and I try not to do it as much as possible. If you were to give me Martinez, Malacia, Ericsson, Casemiro, Antony, have we signed anyone else? I don't think so. Have we signed anyone else? Casemiro, Antony. Alright, throw the back. So Dubravka, Antony, Casemiro, Martinez, Malacia, Ericsson. Right? If you had offered me that at the start of the transfer window, given how incompetent Manchester United have been in the last few years in transfer, I would have took the arm off you. So look, I think it's a decent transfer window, and we said it. I said it at the start of the transfer window. We're not going to be challenging for league titles after one transfer window. It just doesn't happen. It does not happen. Given the state of play we were at the end of last season, there's no way we're going to be challenging for titles after one transfer window. It's going to take time. It really, really is going to take time. But I think we've done some good business this summer. I think we have. Now, we've done some poor business in terms of overpaying for Antony and overpaying for Martinez. But Malacia looks like an absolute steal for 15 million. Ericsson was free, you know, so can't say anything about that. I think 60 million for Casemiro is probably going to be worth it if we get, you know, 3 years of quality level. I think, and look, he has that in his locker easily. So I don't think that's bad business. But in saying that, you are never, ever, ever going to get me to change my mind. It's hashtag Glazers out all day. All day. Absolutely all day. You know, we've improved. Our squad absolutely has improved from last year. In relation to the signings we've made and the improvements that we can see in players that are left over from last year, already Ten Hag is having his impact on him. But it's going to be a slow burner. It really is going to be a slow burner. We have to be patient. We have to get behind the manager. We have to get behind the team. And I think if we do that, if we keep our patience, there are going to be bumps in the road. We are going to lose 2 or 3-0. You know, Jessica, thanks for the gift. And Paul, thanks for the gift. We are going to lose at certain points. We could potentially go on a run of 3 or 4 games without winning. That may happen. But if you look deep enough and see the progress, and if the progress is there, and if we're, you know, progressing week on week, improving our football, you know, players are improving, then, you know, I'm happy, you know, and give the manager the time he deserves. Irish lad says, John McHugh is in and says, will we get Gakpo from PSV? Yeah, so I mentioned that. Irish lad says, what about the young lad McNeil in the under 23s? He scores goals for fun. He does. I wouldn't like to be putting that kind of weight on his shoulders at such an early age, though. I think is he only 18 or 19, I think? He could be a little bit older, I'm not sure. So yeah, I certainly do think he has a future at Manchester United if he can continue to improve. I wouldn't like to be putting that kind of pressure on him that early. But look, I'm sure the manager, you know, knows everything about him. Maybe a bit early, but do you think McNeil could be brought? Yeah, so there's another one. Dan has mentioned that as well. Yusuf says, not Aubameyang, no Gakpo or Asensio. Omo, thanks for the gift. Dubravka says, Chris, It should have been done earlier. That's my only problem with the transfer window. Yep, me too. And Dan says, I believe in Ten Hag. I think he's the best fit since Fergie, building for the future and develops players no end. Yeah, absolutely. And that's all we can really ask, in relation to a manager. He's not taking any bullshit. And the one thing I do have to say, he's after making some very, very tough decisions, and that fucking Simon Jordan was talking on TalkSport about he was a little man in a big suit, that was a suit that was too big for him. He hasn't made any big decisions. He's after dropping our captain for 2 games in a row. He dropped the biggest named player in the world in Ronaldo. Luke Shaw is after getting benched. He's after buying Casemiro, so you can now bet that McTominay has gone out the door. He's after making massive, massive calls there. And in the last 2 games, we've seen the fruit of that. I think the first couple of games, okay, hands up, we lost, we deserved to lose. But I think Ten Hag kind of said, right, I'm the new manager, you have one chance with me, so go out there and try and do it. And then after the couple of games, he just realised, these guys are fucked, so he started changing around. He got Maguire out, he got Shaw out. In my opinion, he should have got McTominay out straight away as well. I think he should have dropped Rashford, even though he scored against Liverpool. But again, we'll give him time. We'll give all of these players time. But, I think Rashford really needs to pick up his game. Really, really, really does need to pick up his game, or he'll be next on the chopping block. Because with Antony coming in there now, there's massive competition for wide places. McTominay, I think, is done with Casemiro coming in. So you look at the players. Shaw, you look like 4 British players. And I'm just after seeing a notification coming up in relation to what Graham Souness said. He's talking about Martinez here. He's not particularly special at anything. Paul, thanks for the gifts. He's not particularly special at anything. He will get found out in the Premier League. I mean, there you go. So, if there was ever a time for Manchester United fans to stick together and not be arguing amongst ourselves and get behind the manager and get behind the team, it's when you hear bullshit like that from an old prick like Graham Souness. So, look, let's get behind the team. Let's get behind the manager. He's after making some big calls. All credit to him. Let him keep making them. I'm certainly going to be right behind him. And I hope all of you will, as well as Manchester United fans. Look, great to see so many people in, guys. If you haven't already done so, I really, really appreciate it on YouTube. If you take a quick second, hit the thumbs up button for me. Helps the channel out an awful lot. And make sure you subscribe as well. We do these transfer talk shows Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. So make sure you're not missing out. We're going to be doing the watch along for the Leicester game on Thursday. So make sure you're liking and subscribing to that. If you're on TikTok, make sure you click on the link on my homepage there as well and go over and subscribe to the YouTube channel also. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers before Christmas. And as well, guys, anyone on TikTok, the link on my homepage has all the socials. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Snapchat. We have a Fantasy Premier League, which I'm closing this Monday to any new joiners. So anyone who hasn't joined the Fantasy Premier League, make sure you go and join it. Link is on the homepage. Anyone in YouTube, it's pinned to the top of the chat, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. So make sure you're doing that as well. We have a podcast out as well. I haven't done it in a couple of weeks as I'm waiting on one of my mates. He hasn't been available yet. So we're going to get back doing them next week as well. United Community Podcast. Go back and listen to it. I think we have 3 episodes up already. But yeah, it's great. It's that so many people are in, guys. I really appreciate all the likes and comments. We're going to be back on Wednesday night for the Transfer Talk Show again, 7:30, same place. Again, then Thursday for the watch along with United and Leicester, and then Friday again for another And actually, no, I might give Friday a miss because the transfer window will be closed. So we're going to start our back to our normal Manchester United news shows again. But we'll be doing them Monday, Wednesday and Friday as normal. So make sure you're liking, sharing, subscribing, following, all of that good stuff. I really appreciate it, guys. Sorry if I didn't get any comments or any messages. We'll try to get to them on Wednesday if you're in. But until then, I appreciate it, guys. Take it easy.